Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A big piece of history gone in Canton Township after a fire destroys an historic barn.
Plus, federal prosecutors offer 2 Michigan men charged in the riots at the U.S. Capitol a plea deal.
But first, America honors the servicemen and women who gave their all for our nation. As we mark Memorial Day today, Americans take time to commemorate those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
President Biden and Vice President Harris spent the morning at Arlington National Cemetery, laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. The president touched on this day and its impact on families across the country, including his own. Sunday marked the 6th anniversary of the death of his son, Beau, an Iraq war veteran. The president also warned, he said democracy itself is in peril, with many Republicans continuing to question the results of the presidential election.
How we honor the memory of the fallen will determine whether or not democracy will long endure.
The president called for unity on this solemn day. And here at home, the city of Royal Oak held its Memorial Day parade this morning.
The annual parade marched down Main Street after last year's parade had to be canceled because of COVID. This year's theme was Rosie the Riveter, celebrating women in the workforce. Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard was also there and talked about balancing this holiday weekend with fun along with remembrance.
And obviously those that gave their life for our country want everyone to enjoy the freedoms and what this country's all about, but just make sure that there's, a combination of exactly that, what you said, a remembering of those that gave us the opportunity to get together as family, to enjoy the fun times, but remember them.
And while that parade happened, there was a second storyline playing out, a fight between the city and a veterans group over moving a memorial in a nearby park. As Nick Monticelli reports, the fight has risen to a level where the American Legion Post told city leaders they were not invited.
There's a good chance the majority of those here honoring the fallen have no idea about an ongoing feud between the city and a veterans group. It's about this memorial just a few blocks from the parade. The city of Royal Oak is rehabbing this area, turning it into a much larger park. The fight is about moving this monument. It went from here to where it sits now. The veterans group is complaining about road noise and preserving the site as is. Because of this fight, the American Legion sent this letter to the city commission saying they were not invited to today's Memorial Day parade. But today, for Memorial Day, everyone set aside their differences.
Even though we sent the letter stating that they're not welcome, my mind is everybody's welcome, whether you're a citizen, not a citizen, everybody should be welcome. And if they're here to celebrate the lives of those that sacrifice for us, all the better.
That's just not Royal Oak. That's not why we're all here as a community on a day like this. So I'm glad that he's saying that, because that is the appropriate thing to say. That's the appropriate attitude to have.
The veterans group has also gathered enough signatures to put this issue to a vote in November. But the city says the language on the petition is incorrect and is not suitable for the ballot. Now a lawsuit is in the works, with attorneys asking for an expedited hearing.
We're irritated that they did move it, yes, but it can always go back, obviously.
We had specific sessions on, what we should do with the memorial and how we should, where it should be located. And ultimately, the people of Royal Oak, it's our monument, all 60,000 people in this community, it's our monument to remember our fallen. We came to a decision that it was better to reposition it by 40 feet.
But even if it does get on the ballot, it would likely be too late.
It is a done deal. I mean, the park will be done. If it were to end up on the ballot in November, the park would be done by then. The park will be done right around Halloween.
Now, there has been an estimate that if this does go through and the monument has to be moved back to where it was originally, it would cost about $400,000. In Royal Oak, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
All right, Nick. Today's coronavirus numbers are delayed until tomorrow because of the holiday.
And tomorrow is a big day for changes coming to the state's COVID restrictions. All outdoor capacity limits will be lifted. That includes at stadiums and concert venues. Indoors, restaurants can operate at 50% capacity, and the 11 p.m. curfew will go away for restaurants and bars. There will also be no limit on the number of people who can dine at one table at a time.
On July 1st, all of the state's COVID restrictions will be rolled back. The easing of restrictions is welcome news for restaurant managers across the state. On the vaccine front, at last check anyway, 58.6% of Michiganders 16 and up have gotten at least one dose of a vaccine. All right. Time for a check of the weather, and it could have been warmer, but what a beautiful Memorial Day around.
Super sunny. I thought it was lovely out there today. Andrew's in for Ben tonight with a first look at the forecast. Hey, Andrew.
Hey there, Sandra and Jason. And yes, we have some clouds that are overhead, but it's still pretty warm out there with temperatures still at 70 degrees or more here at the 6 o'clock hour. And you're right, a splendid morning and a wonderful afternoon for all those commemorations and dedications that were going on. And if there's still more events this evening, weather still helps us out. 71 right now over at the airport with a wind of 9 miles per hour. Temperatures in your neighborhood, same sort of deal, right around room temperature, give or take a degree or two. Still at 73, that's the warm spot in Mount Clemens. Port Huron getting in on the action with 70 degrees as well, 70 up in Flint. And we still keep those warm conditions as we go throughout the rest of the evening. And it's still as dry as a bone with relative humidity at 38%. That is key because we have cloudier skies to our west, and where it is more humid, we're looking at rain actually hitting the ground. But that's way off in Illinois. That rain trying to make it in here, but it is simply too dry. It remains dry overnight, dry for tomorrow with more sunshine. Does that translate into higher temperatures? We'll talk about that for tomorrow's forecast and your 7-day forecast in moments. But remember, as you head out the door this evening to continue to commemorate Memorial Day, you can take the weather with you. Download right now the Local Forecasters app. It puts weather in the palm of your hand. It is faster, easier, certainly accurate, and it has your future forecast, and it's free. Search WDIV in your app store.
All right, Andrew. A death investigation in Oakland County is underway after a 2-year-old boy dies in a tractor accident. It happened Saturday night on Nelson William Drive in Brandon Township. Investigators say the boy fell off the tractor that was driven by his uncle. He was taken to the hospital where he died from his injuries. An autopsy showed the child died from blunt force trauma. Deputies say the child's uncle admitted he was drinking before the accident. The 33-year-old was taken into custody and charges are pending.
2 Macomb County men charged in connection to the January 6th riots at the U.S. Capitol are now offered plea deals. Robert Bobby Schnornak and Daniel Herndon charged with breaking into the Capitol, obstructing Congress, and disorderly conduct. Federal agents say that photos and video show both men were inside the Capitol that day. A total of 9 men from Michigan have been charged in connection with the FBI's investigation. Both of these men right here are now out on bond.
A big piece of local history goes up in flames. The Katie Boyer barn burned to the ground Sunday afternoon. As Rod Maloney reports, it's a heartbreaking development for the community, and in particular, one man who helped save the barn from the wrecking ball more than 15 years ago.
While Canton may be a modern suburb of the city of Detroit, it actually has very agrarian roots. Behind me is the Historical Society's barn with all kinds of farm implements. It's a museum, really. Here is a pavilion just put up just a few weeks ago that was a compliment to the barn that was here. But as you can see, the barn is now a pile of rubble. This was the horrifying scene to preservationists in Canton yesterday. Penny Duncan-Hardy, who lives just up the street, shot these pictures of the Katie Bauer barn fire on her way home from a wedding. If you've ever been to Canton's Farmers Market, you know the building. Dave Curtis of the Canton Historical Society is heartbroken.
Oh, this is extremely sad, especially it's a big loss for the community. So many events went on here, and it's a historical aspect of the township that is now gone.
This is what the barn used to look like. It stood on Canton School District property by the high school. In 2004, they were going to knock it down to build tennis courts. So Dave asked if he could save it by moving it if he raised the money and found a place for it. Well, with the help of the Canton City Hall, business owner Bob Bauer, and his friends from the Amish community in Homer, Michigan, they were able to painstakingly remove and restore the barn back in 2006.
They numbered the pieces and put it back together. They spread the pieces out on this was a field back here at the time. They spread all the pieces out there and then started assembling it.
Over the years, it became a great meeting hall.
I know I had my 50th wedding anniversary here.
Canton's fire marshal is investigating the cause of this fire, but they may never know. In the meantime, they're trying to figure out exactly what they can do. Can they raise the funds to get rid of the rubble and put up a new barn? Big question that they would like to answer, and soon. In Canton, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod. Every year they hold a Beer, Brats, and Bands fundraiser for the Historical Society. Dave Curtis tells Local 4 tonight he's looking at making it the Beer, Brats, Band, and Barn fundraiser going forward.
Today is the final full day on the job for Detroit Police Chief James Craig. In fact, he retires tomorrow after 44 years in law enforcement, 8 of those years with Detroit Police. Craig has still not said whether he plans to challenge Governor Whitmer on the Republican ticket. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan has named civil rights leader and former Assistant Police Chief James White the interim chief, and he will work alongside the mayor to find a permanent replacement.
Still to come on the 6, if caffeine is your go-to for that extra boost when you're low on sleep or whatever, you might want to take a break.
Find out what researchers say that extra cup of joe may not get you too far. Plus, here's Kim.
Juneteenth is right around the corner, and there's a big event happening right here in Detroit. I'll show you where it is and show you how you can get in on the fun.